This is a TvT. You fast expanded. Gotta move this up. Oh, that's the one I'm actively recording. That's funny. So this is Snuck TVZ. It's hard not to use the word stupid and call your opponents stupid, but if I knew that he was going to be watching this too, then I wouldn't have said that he was stupid for doing those bailing busts. But it really is, it demonstrates a lack of understanding of how banelings should be used to do those kind of bailing busts over and over. And it actually happens in the Masters League. One of my recent games, Azurg did that exact same thing to me. He took a giant army of just banelings with no other units and just kind of rolled around crushing buildings and stuff. And it put him so far behind that he just immediately lost the game. And that's kind of what happened to you, except for that it took a lot longer for the game to end. So in this TvT, the big vulnerability is always going to be 8 minutes. You've got this 38 workers at 8 minutes. A one-base Terran should have 30 workers at 8 minutes. So you're 8 workers ahead of that because you got such a fast expand. And that's crazy good for you. This is really good. But because you've spent an additional $550 on the second command center and $400 on those additional 8 workers, that's like $1,000 that you just can't dump into your army. So you end up with a $1,000 army. And this is why the Banshee tank push is like a hard counter to this Marine fast expand kind of style, is that it's just really easy to end up with $1,200 at 8 minutes or something. Luckily for you, your opponent is being even more greedy than you, and he has even, he's got basically no army whatsoever. This type of thing that your opponent is doing is one of the reasons, even the odds, that's funny. It's one of the reasons that Nick really likes to poke with his first 10 Marines, because if you can catch somebody being this army light, you can often just kill them. I don't do it very often because I'm afraid that as soon as I poke out, he'll do a drop, and then I'll be screwed, or as soon as I poke out, he'll show up with a Banshee or something, and I'll be screwed. But whatever, it can be good, especially against people like this who do stupid things. This is completely ridiculous of him, by the way. I don't know if you understand how the economy of StarCraft 2 works. Obviously, I do know that you do know how it works, but a PF, $700 to mine 40 gas per minute. This guy is retarded. Retarded. I don't know, I shouldn't say retarded, but Jesus, he's really bad. So I'm going to fast forward until you attack, and then the game's going to end, because he has no army. Like, what the hell is he thinking? So here you go, we're going to do a little drop on top of his tanks. That was beautiful. You did not have the courage to do this in the past, and I'm so glad to see that you took your Marines and you dropped them on a siege tank, and you're going to do some damage at his base. I would actually love to see these Marines start participating in this battle too, but you're actually going to win the whole game with 16 Marines. That's how embarrassingly bad this guy is at StarCraft. And congratulations, man. It took some guts to do that drop and to say, you know what, sometimes people are ready for my drops and sometimes they kill them, but I'm going to do it anyway, damn it, because that's what my build is designed for, and I'm going to do it. So I'm glad you did that drop, and look back home, you've got this huge army. You're making medevacs a couple at a time, siege tanks with siege mode, and lots of Marines coming out. Your money is piling up because for the 3,000th time in a row, I'm going to look at 12 minutes and say, hey, do you have 10 buildings? I mean, it's just going to be no. And I don't mean to sound angry, but it's like midnight and I'm grumpy. And it's not because I'm mad at you or anything. I just want to scream. So 52 workers at 12. Okay, let's use 13 minutes. Okay, so at 10 minutes, you're supposed to have 50 workers. 44 is perfectly acceptable number of workers to have, and that's how many you have. The most you can possibly have is 52. The average is 44, and the least, is like 48, and the least you can possibly have is 44. Anything within that range, you did great. So now you're going to produce 7 Marines every minute for the next couple of minutes while trying to secure a third and being aggressive with your army. And doing those 3 things at once, sometimes one of them has to suck it up and just not be very good. And it looks like, again, saturation balance, just like every game of yours, is a problem. I would like to see 3 dudes on gas, 3 dudes on gas, 18 to 20 guys on minerals, some dedicated builders. They're not counted as the guys on minerals. They're their own guys that just build all game long. 2 or 3 of them would be great. Just 3 guys whose only job it is to build, so that you never end up with 5 guys building, because that can be bad. and then everyone else rallies to your command center. But what you've done this game and the last game is 2 guys on gas, 2 guys on gas. I bet you watched that episode of Day 9 where he talked about how cool it was that some guy got 2 guys on gas instead of 3, and like that made his build so much. Don't listen to what Day 9 says about pro players, because he's talking to pro players about pro players. He's not talking to gold leaguers. He's not talking to you. So don't listen to the high-end strategy stuff. It's just gonna screw you up. You fully saturate every gas you ever take, and if you want less gas, don't build the geyser. That's the only way you should be regulating your gas, is by building. When you build the geysers, that's when, you know. So, and definitely get 18 dudes on minerals here, because now you've got an undersaturated main and an oversaturated natural, and this happened last game too. 2 games in a row that you sent me where you did the exact same problem. And you don't want to be doing this because you have 47 workers, and we're going to do some math because I like math. I like turtles and I like math. Those are the 2 things I like. We got one mule, so we say 1440 plus 256 minus 160 divided by 40, and we say, oops, 38.4. So this number should be 40, and it's not, and that's the problem. So you missed 2/40ths of your mining efficiency, which isn't really as big as I thought it would be. I'm actually pretty surprised. That seems like it should be bigger. But whatever. Divided by 40 is 96%. There's something seriously wrong here. Because look at this. This is clearly not fully saturated. So, I don't know. My math is like wrong or something. Yeah. I like how you built your turret so that it blocks these 2 mineral patches, so you guys actually have to mine from the back. That's funny. Anyway, so what I was starting to say, and totally interrupted myself because I noticed your saturation balance was bad, was that at 10 minutes you had 46 or 44, and every minute after that you want 7 more. So at 11 minutes you want to have 51, and you do, and then at 12 minutes you want to have 57. Come on, 57, and you don't. So this is consistent in this game and the previous game. From 11 to 12 minutes, you cut workers, and in this game you did it because you supply blocked. In the last game, you specifically stopped making workers, and I feel like this is a symptom of you feeling like you want to be strong for this period of time, but then it makes you weak in the next 3 or 4 minutes while you try to catch up on workers. So you should have been at 57, and now you want to be at 64. And you're at 54. You're 10 workers behind now, and then you want to be at 71, and you're going to be at 54 still. So at 14 minutes, you should have had 72 workers right now, and that should be 3,000 income. So if we look, you have a 1,800 incomes. You've got about half the income that you want to have at this point. And if you look at your opponent, he's even more, like, ridiculously pathetic. He's on 3 bases with 37 workers and 1,000 income. It's just terrible. But you should be competing against yourself, not against these scrubs, because when you get promoted to Platinum League, people will be slightly harder, and when you get promoted to Diamond, they'll be slightly harder still. And you can continuously improve if you compare yourself to yourself, but if you compare yourself only to the people you play against, then you'll only improve at the rate which Blizzard dictates that your opponents should improve, which is going to be much slower than what you can do for yourself. Forgetting to drop mules, pretty consistent theme with you. Taking this third at like 15 or 16 minutes instead of 12 or 13 minutes is a pretty consistent theme. Not making enough buildings, extremely consistent theme that you yourself have articulated over and over again is, yeah, I know I have that problem. I never want you to know you have a problem and then still have it. That drives me crazy. You should be willing to lose games in order to fix problems, you know? You won this game because you focused really heavily on doing the push when you needed to be doing, and doing all the right things, and doing the things that are most important, and that's great, and you should do that when you want to win games, but you should play games periodically, custom games, against your friends, against some noob from a chat channel, against somebody that you know you can beat, where you focus on the problems that you know you have, because there are certain problems that have been in every one of your games that you've ever sent me that just continue to pop up. Saturation balance when you take your third, how many workers you make by 15 minutes, how much army you get by 15 minutes, and most consistently, how many buildings you make by 12 or 13 or 14 minutes. So if you want to, if your goal is to have a $3,000 income by 14 minutes, then how do you spend $3,000 when each building can only spend 250, right? So you say 3,000 divided by 250, and you say, I need 12 buildings, right? Do you have 12 buildings? No, right? No. This is a half a building. This is a half a building. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 buildings. That's not 12. 5 is less than 12. This is more math. 5, 12. Separate numbers. One of them is lower. 5 is the one that's lower. Also, a pretty consistent problem, I don't know if you had it in this game, is that you don't keep up on upgrades. It looks like you queued up an upgrade, which I actually really like because, like I said, you should be willing to do things wrong in order to fix problems you know you have. And that's something, an example of doing something wrong that actually fixes a problem that you've had consistently forever. Queuing up upgrades, I like it. Try not to queue up upgrades, but it is so much better to queue up that upgrade, at least for the last 20 seconds or something, than it is to just have an idle engineering bay, or especially having 2 idle engineering bays, which is something you've done in the past. So I liked that little adaptation you made. You won this game. You were clearly far better than this player, but I'm really disappointed in the consistent theme of the same mistakes happening over and over and over, and I'd like to see you send me replays where you don't make any of those mistakes, even if you lose the game. That would make me so happy. Show me a replay where you have 3,000 income by 14 minutes, and you have 12 buildings by 12 minutes, and you spend every penny, and then you lose. I don't care if you lose. I just want to see you do those things. That would be so beautiful to me. So great job, way to kill him, really way to get over the shyness you had about attacking people with your first push. We talked a lot about how the whole point of a marine-based build is to exchange armies and exchange them over and over, and that sitting back passively and getting 200 unit space is just, it's like agreeing to lose the game, and I was very impressed with the changes you made in this game and in the TvZ, where you attacked and then attacked and then attacked. I like that. That's great. This is a big improvement. Thank you for doing that, and good job. Bye.